Paul said they didn't want it bad enough. Do you agree with him?
Paul is my brother. I love him, but he can be an extremist. And I don't want to say that the Toronto Raptors didn't want it bad enough. How about the fact that the Golden State Warriors just snatched it from them? We have never seen a 20-0 run in the history of the NBA Finals. Right. Whatever we saw last night, it has never happened. And I want to give the Warriors credit for that, not necessarily acting like the Raptors didn't want it. Now, when a team is on a run, you got to throw your body into somebody, get to the free throw line. If you're Nick Nurse, you got to continue to jumble the lineup. He called 2 timeouts. But again, this Golden State Warriors team has a championship DNA, and they were firing on all cylinders. Iguodala made a 3, Cook made a 3, layups and dunks. They were got to give them credit.
You got to give them credit, man, because this is the thing. It would be one thing when we expect to win, we expect an explosion from a Steph Curry or a Klay Thompson. I saw Quinn Cook come off the bench and hit 2 key threes in the second half. I saw DeMarcus Cousins play defense and grab every pivotal rebound. And, oh, by the way, had pretty much all of his 6 assists in the second half. I saw McKinney only scored 1 bucket, but that was a big pull-up in the lane, a big float in the lane. You needed that from him once Iguodala had gone out for a minute or 2. You saw Iguodala. He only hit 3 baskets for the game. But you know, 2 of them really, really counted. You needed them most. He delivered the goods. All I'm trying to say is when you look at that, they played 11 guys. They don't do that. But they played 11 guys. And this is why I got to give Steve Kerr credit. Because guess what? That's him and his staff. Those brothers were ready. And they almost never play. And they were ready. I got to give credit where credit is due in that regard.
I don't mean to oversimplify this because the X's and O's matter. And sometimes we reduce this to like will to win because not everyone's Jalen Rose and can see the X's and O's the same way. So forgive me if I'm doing that here. I recognize the Warriors' transition D was a huge improvement from game 1, and that's something Steve Kerr talked about. And he's a great coach, and he's going to go down in history as a great coach, and you saw that the transition defense obviously improved. So it's not really that it's not about the X's and O's to me, but let me make a comparison to the fight game. We have our own Tim Bradley calling fights. Tim Bradley was a very good fighter. He had B-plus stuff, but he had A results. Because a lot of fighters thought they wanted to win. Then they fought Tim Bradley, and they're like, oh, that's what it is to really need to win. I thought I wanted to win. Look, we know Toronto's capable of beating back that third quarter rush from the Warriors because they did it in game 1. They answered the call every time in game 1. But that level of intensity needs to be matched every single quarter, every single game. That's what champions do. The Raptors haven't been that yet. So they didn't answer the call. And so I'm not taking credit away from the Warriors. I'm saying I agree with Paul. If you thought you needed to win this game, guys, you didn't play like it.
Yeah, but here's where your analogy goes a bit awry in my estimation. When you bring up a Tim Bradley, okay, talk about B-plus level, but A results because he had the heart of a champion, et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what? What if you're going up against an A-plus talent that's got the heart of a champion?
I'll tell you that,
so what I'm saying to you is this. What you're talking about, the Toronto Raptors, and what moment they were in, and how they needed to confiscate that, to snatch it. Well, guess what? The Warriors felt the same level of urgency, except they were a 3-time champion feeling that level of urgency.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's my point.
You got to match it. You got to match it.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm not a fool. If Kevin Durant was playing, and Klay Thompson was healthy, and Boogie was healthy, and Andre Iguodala was not hobbled, I would have picked the Golden State Warriors to win the series.
Right.
However, going into the series, those were the circumstances. And if you're a Raptors fan, here's what you have to look forward to. Klay Thompson is hobbled.
Yep.
I don't believe Kevin Durant's going to play Game 3. Let's see how DeMarcus Cousins. Let's see how DeMarcus Cousins' body responds to go from playing 8 minutes to 28 minutes. These are all things that.
But you're focusing on the Warriors. What I'm saying is from Paul's point to Paul's point, from the Raptors' point of view, Kyle Lowry, you write the script. Like, these players write the script right now. This stuff is not etched in stone ahead of time. Kyle Lowry, do you want to be known as an excellent regular season player who couldn't get it done in the playoffs, or can you be Kawhi's crime partner? Right now, Siakam, are you a guy who we're going to look back at this season and say, boy, if only Siakam was a couple of years older? Or can you grab the bull by the horns right now? Kawhi, we know you're hurt, you're doing your best, but can you get some of those shots to fall? This is what
the only reason I disagree with Paul Pierce, getting back to him because he is the impetus for this subject, is that there are teams that want it so badly And that's why they're tight. There's not always that you didn't want it bad enough.
No doubt.
You could want it so badly that you get tight. And I think there's no way that the Toronto Raptors didn't want it bad enough.
And that's experience.
If anything, they wanted it too badly, but they don't have the experience to exercise the level of poise and composure to be successful in that regard.
There's a couple of things that the Raptors did that people can't ignore. That they basically shut down Steph Curry the entire first half. He got going late in the second quarter.
Late in the second quarter.
Also, we're going to talk about the third quarter Warriors. How about the end of the fourth quarter Raptors?
No doubt.
Right.
Who went on a 10-0 run. That's what lets me know that they did want it. They didn't get down 10 and all of a sudden get down 20 and the Golden State Warriors were icing their knees late in the game.
But let me go to you, because, see, when I used to watch you play, particularly when you were in college, sorry to go so far back, but it's necessary in this particular situation. When I watched you play, one of the things that I always loved about you is that you always seemed even keel. There was never any, it never looked like, damn, the moment is getting so big that somebody's antsy. Jalen is antsy. I saw other people would look a little bit antsy, but not you. So what I'm saying to you is that I pay attention to stuff like that, and I'll look at the Toronto Raptors. As this series wanes, it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And to me, the only person on the Raptors that I can trust is not going to be fazed by the pressure is Kawhi. Everybody else is a question mark. I'm not saying they can't do it. Please, I got faith in Fred VanVleet. I truly do. I got faith in some of these guys, the Lowrys of the world. I got faith that if it's there, Lowry doesn't foul out. Who knows what the outcome is? But I look at guys and I'm saying the only person that I see whose poise I'm comfortable with is Kawhi.
16 to 16 in the free throw line.